Hello and welcome to my video where I paint this, I don't even know what she's called. Didn't even read the, well, no one's going to read the box anyway, this figure here. Now, when my friend went and purchased this for me to paint, he didn't like yellow, which is quite lucky because I don't like painting yellow. So we both agreed on red. And I'm pretty sure it came out alright. Unfortunately, my friend has had to go out of town for quite a long time. So I'm going to have to keep this in my collection for the time being. Now, I'm not quite sure why my friend went and bought this. I'm not 100%. It's for the little pew pew she's holding in her hand. I'm sure that's the only reason he bought it. Just like to say thanks for watching and have fun.
Once the model was primed and had a zenithal highlight applied to it, it was my intention to airbrush most of the model. However, I ran into a major problem which I'll mention later. Luckily though, I did manage to airbrush the skin, which is probably the hardest part of the model to paint, purely because painting skin is pretty difficult. As this figure is a little bit out of proportions and having more of a cartoonishy sort of look to it, especially in the face, I decided to keep the skin tone quite simple and basic. To achieve the realistic-y type cartoonishy skin tone, I used 4 Vallejo skin tone colours which pop up in the top left corner every time I use them. All you have to do is start with the darkest colour and cover all of the skin. Then using skill, or what I usually find is blind luck, is to pick the next lightest colour and try to cover about 3/4 of the skin that's facing skyward. And then 50% for the next colour and 25% for the lightest. I tend to start spraying straight at the model for the darkest colours and get closer and closer to spraying top down when I get to the lightest colours. And although not on camera, I did reapply the darkest colour in all those little unfortunate creases she has. For the problem that I encountered with this model is that no paint will stick to it, and even my weakest masking tape just peels the paint right up, including the blue tack that peeled the paint off after the model was varnished. I also used several different types of primer and none of them stuck. So after staring at the box art for some time, wondering how I'm going to achieve this, I figured I'd start painting with my inks instead. As inks are translucent in their own nature, for the most part, and the model has got a zenithal highlight, I confidently deluded myself into thinking this was going to be a one coat wonder. Yeah, I couldn't have been more wrong. Whilst trying to keep my hands still, trying to paint and cry at the same time, I figured applying the ink to the rest of the costume would be a good idea. Now, if you've never worked with inks before, you have to bear in mind they stain any surface they touch, even briefly. So I was very happy when I realised I didn't touch any of the skin whilst painting. After giving the legs a second coat of ink, I noticed I had a sparkly lime green ink in my collection. Being that there is a fine line between bravery and stupidity, I forged ahead with the ink and just carried on painting. And as luck would have it, bravery won the day because I didn't get any ink on any of the skin. For her little pew pew, we all know that no real lady would carry something that doesn't match the rest of their outfit. Seeing that bravery won the first round, it was time for stupidity to even the score. I like the colour purple, and I don't know what I was thinking when I picked it up, but after applying it to the boots and the accessories, I unfortunately found that purple doesn't go with everything. I even used an online colour wheel thingy-bob, so don't trust complementary colours. Again, I feel like I have to mention this another time, even holding the model briefly will make the paint come off. As the purple was a dark colour, reapplying the red sparkly ink on top completely hid my mistake and also applied shadows in the recesses. I always use a dark grey instead of black when painting areas like the shoe soles, as black is too dark in a small scale. Originally I was going to use an off-white to paint the small details, but I found the pure white came out much better because I was looking for that cartoon-esque look. Knowing that I've pushed my luck far too much, I figured applying a gloss varnish would be a good idea, as I know that if I carried on painting, I would eventually hit the skin. Being that I can't mask the model, touching up the skin tone with brushwork would be impossible. Believing that the model was now safe under a nice glossy shell of varnish, I used a scribing tool to scratch out all the panel lines in her outfit. As for the intricate areas, it was time for the trusty hobby blade to work its magic around all those little tight spaces. And again, if I scratch too hard or drag the knife across, it ripped the varnish and paint straight up. If you're good at painting eyes, good for you. I can't, so I'm going to use these decals. If for this entire time you're wondered why her face looked deformed, it's because it's very hard to apply the decals when you apply the fringe first. This set does give you 6 pairs of eyes in 2 designs, so making a mistake in applying them isn't really a problem. But I've got the skills, so I have 5 pairs of eyes I've got nothing to attach to. As I do a lot of armour modelling in my spare time, I use micro set and micro sol, aka vinegar I think, to apply decals to surfaces that aren't perfectly flat. To use them, after you've soaked the decal in water to the point where it will slide off, the blue micro set is applied to the area where the decal is going to go. This will help the decal adhere to the surface, and after the decal is in the correct position, brushing the red micro sol on top melts the plastic film holding the decal, softening it and helping it melt into all the bumps and creases. I'm not quite sure if it's necessary, but out of habit I always dab it with a cotton bud afterwards. When I'm happy that the eyes are in the right place and I don't have to scrub them off, I use far too much super glue to glue the fringe onto the head. I know the instructions say use a micro dot, but I think more will make it stick better. When I was dry fitting the pieces before painting, I did notice the huge step in the hairline and hoped somehow painting the model would fix it without me having to do anything. But it actually looks like I'm going to have to do some modelling for this figure. As the Vallejo modelling putty was in front of me at the time, and I couldn't be bothered to find any of the other my putties, it was time to squeeze it all over the cracks, grab the first silicone brush I got my hands onto, poke and prod the putty as if I know how to sculpt, wiping and brushing the tip everywhere, hoping that the tool would do the work, and then set the light next to my camera to its maximum brightness, so you can't see if I did a good job or not. Now, learning from my earlier purple mistake, I realised that my phone had a secret little AI person in it. I wanted to use blue for the hair colour, but the AI showed me it's probably a bad idea. After experimenting telling it how many different colours I'd want, I actually asked it this, and the hair colour looked like a good fit. Unfortunately, I don't get to see the hairline through a camera lens and a bright white light, so I'd recommend sanding it smooth. Although I had every intention of painting it the same way as the AI image, I just know I would never achieve it. So I picked a brownie colour and went to town all over the hair. I am aware that the box art has the hands in gloves, but I didn't realise this until after I'd painted the skin tone on them, so red nail polish it is. As for the mouth, this was a little bit harder to record. I used a cheaper acrylic ink, applied it over the lips and the crease of the mouth, and dabbed it with a wet brush to make a wash to leave the red ink in the crease of the mouth. Normally I'm a perfectionist and would spend a week just painting all the tiny ridges between the skin and outfit, but I'd already planned to put a black panel liner in all the recesses to help sell the cartoonish effect, so I skipped that step and just applied the panel liner. Obviously I started very cautiously and carefully, and then got bored and just slapped it all over the model. When I got to the point that I thought I'd ruined all my hard work, it was time for all the cleanup. For this, all you need to do is apply white spirits to your brush, dab off the excess, and then wipe away all the enamel paint you don't want on your model, whilst using kitchen towel to remove paint from the brush. If you're anything like me and get bored halfway through a precision task, just crack out a cotton bud, dab it in white spirits, and just wipe it all over the areas that you don't want enamel paint. I did think the figure was done at this point, but the skin did look a little bit too glossy, and this wasn't a wet t-shirt competition. Again, because of the masking problems, I couldn't airbrush any varnish, so I decided to brush on some acrylic varnish onto areas that weren't that important to see if they would leave any visible brush strokes behind. Normally they don't, but it's always best to test first. After checking the finish on the matte varnish, I realised I'd be safe to use the satin varnish on the skin. Now I'm using satin varnish for the skin because... Sorry, I don't know what happened there. Where was I? Oh yeah, satin varnish is that perfect blend between matte and gloss, funnily enough. For the skin, it won't make it look too glossy as if it's wet, and it won't make it look too matte, as if it's too dry. Look, skin's greasy, it shines a little bit, but not too much. As you can see, after a couple of minutes of drying, her legs look, well, yeah, just look good. As her hand accessory looks a little bit too bland, a silver pencil will bring out some of those details. All that remains is to remove the support I drilled into her foot and get her ready for all her little glamour shots, just for you. You know, my friend, yeah, him. On a serious note, I would just like to point out that I'm using exactly the same lighting setup, but two different manufacturers of cameras with the same advanced settings, and one shows her as anemic and the other with freckles. Have fun!